Hi, I'm Claire from Plantpassion, and today I'm going to talk to you about picking and grading tulips. Tulips are a really important crop for us because they start our main flower season, and it means that when we have the tulips we can start selling to our florists. Here they're grown outside as an annual crop, so we plant the bulbs and we pick them whole and we discard them and we don't use them again. So I'm going to show you how to pick them from the ground to get the longest stems possible, the best quality bulbs and blooms at exactly the right time. So tulips need to be picked every day, sometimes twice a day. And actually these bulbs were all picked last night at about 7 o'clock. So they've all come out into colour since then. So this lovely variety is Orca, and that's the last of them now. We've been picking them for the last 3 or 4 days. This variety here is Verona, and it's a lovely double, and as it gets older it will open into a peony shaped bloom. But we want to pick them as soon as there is some colour and as soon as they've just started to open. Okay, so the way to pick them is to get them as far down the stem as possible and to pull quite gently. That gives us a really long stem. Now hopefully we'll be hoping to get as many of the bulbs out of the ground as well because then we don't have to dig them out later. So none of those managed to come out with the bulbs attached, which is a bit of a shame, but that's probably because we're early in the morning here and the stems are full of water, and that means that they're coming out quite quickly. So more of those came out with the bulb on, which is quite good for us. So now we've got a great big bundle of lovely fresh tulips, and now we've got to go and sort them and grade them and wrap them ready for selling. So when we've picked them, usually both morning and evening at this time of the year, we then need to grade them and wrap them. Tulips will bend when they grow, and so we wrap them up in newspaper to keep the stems nice and straight. They're often transported out of water and that stops them growing, but we like to keep all of our flowers in water here, so we need to make sure that they're kept straight. These are all tulips that we planted last November. It's now the middle of April. And we'll be harvesting tulips for about 3 to 4 weeks. And we do that by choosing varieties that flower at different times. So to grade them, we'll need to take off the lower stems. We usually leave the upper stems on them. And then because the tulips grow, we want to make sure that they're wrapped well in the paper. So we put them further down, and obviously if they've still got the bulbs on them, then we're taking those off. And then we're grading them so that if we get anything interesting like that, that will probably go in one of our bouquets because it's still gorgeous, but won't be sold to our florists. So we wrap them all nice and tight, and then to make sure that they all get water, we'll just snip the ends off to make sure that they're all at the same level. So when we're grading them, we're just looking for if they're nice, strong, straight stems. If they have been planted slightly deeper, or if they were at the edge of the planting area, they might not be quite as tall. They might be slightly weaker stems, and then we want to make sure we put those aside. They're still beautiful and they'll still get used in something, but they won't necessarily go out as our florist grade tulips, which we want to give the best possible. And all of these will start opening up in their wraps, and they'll be perfect in 3 or 4 days' time for a wedding or event, and they'll last for well over a week.